at least a little bit. Hopefully get some watch hours, and hopefully I'll get some awesome people to show up and have a great conversation or conversations. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here in Missouri. I am more blessed than I deserve. I've got my big coffee. I'm ready to go and I'm ready to rant. So I'm just waiting for some people to show up. Hopefully, we'll get some people, rather. I believe we will. All right. Don't mind me while I do a little something over here. All right. Ooh, 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 ooh. Just setting something up here, folks. All right. Now I wait. And I'll talk just because hopefully some people will catch the replay of this live stream. So I want to give them some stuff to listen to. Howdy from Milton, Florida. What's up? Welcome in. How are you, man? It's been a while. How you doing? What's going on? What's new and exciting in your world? I'm happy you made it. Happy you made it. What's going on, Gary? How you doing? How's retirement treating you, brother? You enjoying it, man? All right. Just camping a bunch. All right. I love camping. I love camping. Sometime, it's maybe somewhat recently, I was thinking about doing some camping with my wife and our two sons. I think I might wait until it's a bit cooler. I like camping. Well, I think I like it all times of year, but I think it might be better to go camping maybe in the fall, probably just right here on our property. Get a tent, get a nice fire going. As far as a fire goes, I think my favorite time of year to enjoy a fire outside is the winter, preferably super cold with snow on the ground. There's something so comforting about having a fire when it's really cold. Retirement is hot and stormy. I almost checked out of life a couple nights ago in a bad storm. What do you mean? What happened? What happened? I'm seeing one like, so whoever's watching this, please hit the like. It's kind, it's free, it's quick, and it's easy. Hit that like. I'm seeing 11, I think I maybe started saying 11 rather, accounts playing this right now. So if you're playing this and you're scrolling, stop scrolling, chill out, hang out with me, open discussion, hang out. And at the very least, hit that like, folks. Hit that like. All right, I'm ready to rant. I'm ready to get into some stuff. Just waiting for some more people to show up. We've already got Gary from Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors from Milton, Florida in the house. All right, let's go. Let's grow. If you are a content creator and you happen to be watching this right now, I'm going to give you some unsolicited advice. I've given this advice many times in previous live streams. Stay in this live stream because you have the opportunity to connect organically to some very supportive, awesome content creators. Limbs and trees, tossed around van, went from being on 4 wheels to 2 wheels briefly. Whoa. Got. Oh, I figured you meant got tossed. Sorry, typo. It's all good. Whoa. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Be careful, man. Accidents can happen in a few seconds or less. Be careful. Be very careful. Yep. I'm seeing 2 likes now, so thank you to whoever hit the like. And if you're playing this right now, introduce yourself. Say hello in the chat. I puckered up. Assume that's what he meant. Oh, that feeling of like adrenaline, that like pit in your stomach or whatever. It's a horrible feeling. Horrible feeling. Dirt wrote, guess what? I'll guess. I'm going to guess that you are maybe a troll. Maybe you're a troll. That's my guess. Hopefully, you're not a troll, Dirt. Hopefully, you are here to have a nice conversation and be a nice person. Dirt wrote, no. I assume that was in response to me saying maybe they're a troll. What, Dirt? My brain went to, at some point or points, Joe Dirt. All right, 9 accounts playing this right now. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Say hello in the chat, everybody. Hearts Humble Homestead, welcome in, welcome in. Hi, popping in to say hi. We have our live soon, so can't stay, but we'll catch up on the replay. Thank you for mentioning, well, first and foremost, thank you for being here. And also, thank you for mentioning your live, because I think this will be a relatively short live that I'm doing here. And hopefully your live is still going when I finish this live. And I'll jump over to your live to support you awesome people. All right, Dean and Kirsta, you folks are great. Hello from a sunny 77 Minnesota. What's up, Shawnee? Oh, love you. Thank you. You're welcome. Hey, hey, Shawnee. We started at the garden, then the splash pad. What's a splash pad? What's a splash pad, Shawnee? Then a food break at the park. Now we are at the beach. That sounds like an awesome day that you're having, and I assume your children are with you as well, or have been with you as well. The perks of homeschooling. No one is around while everyone is at school. That's an excellent, excellent point that I may not have actively thought about before. Excellent point. Yeah, people be at school and it just opens up more for you and your children. Splash is a park with fountains and a drain and a button to turn it on. I think I know what you're talking about. The button thing, I might have a memory or vague memories of that in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, when I was a child. Huh. That sounds like fun. 77 is a nice temperature, Shawnee. Nice temperature. In recent days, I think overall, I mean, we've still had some hot days recently, but in recent days, we've had some cooler days, as in, I think it might have dropped into the 80s, perhaps. But we've had a lot of days in the past month or so, 90 plus degrees. So we've had lots of hot days recently. So water comes out of the ground, cement pad. Huh. I might know what you're talking about. I might have a memory of that from my childhood, or maybe memories. Huh. That sounds like fun. Yeah, Fridays are for fun. Awesome. Fun Fridays. There's some alliteration for you. We don't have any extra money, so close to home free activities. Very smart. Very smart. Very smart. It's good to get the word out about free activities, because I think a lot of people don't know about the free activities in their community and communities surrounding their communities. And a lot of people, possibly most people nowadays, past few years, maybe past 6 years, give or take, are struggling financially, and people don't have, a lot of people don't have money to go out and just be spending nonstop. So free things are awesome. My splash pad is our daily storms at around 4 p.m. Ooh. Florida gets those sun showers. And sun showers might be less intense than what Gary at Jailbait and Tackle Outdoors is talking about. Yeah, gas is like $4.09. Yeah, it's crazy. Gas is, I think I saw recently, I might have pumped 87, the lowest octane, at like $3.99, $4. Gas in particular is one of those things that in the past was a tiny, negligible, as in like insignificant part of people's budgets. Now it's reached the point that it's a very real, important, noticeable part of people's budgets. And for some people, like, you know, they're not making much money. They're making minimum wage or around minimum wage. It costs them $20 to get, round trip to go to work and come back, $20 total. They just worked like over an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if you take tax into consideration, just to get to work before any money is left over for bills, besides fuel bills, fuel expenses. What's minimum wage? That's a great question. I think it's over $13, less than 14. I want to say maybe around $13.70, perhaps. Want to hear something that makes you think? As long as it's nothing bad, yes. And Dirt, I think you never even responded earlier after you asked, guess what? And said no about being a troll, assuming that's what you meant. What did you want me to guess? Or what do you have to say about that guess or whatever? And where are you from, Dirt? Please follow up on your previous comment about guess what, Dirt. Here in Minnesota, it's $11.41 now, apparently. January 1st, 2027, the minimum wage will increase to $11.87 per hour for all employers in the state of Minnesota. Oh, it was a dad joke. Well, if it was not a bad thing, then share it in the chat, please. Minimum wage here in Missouri is enough for people to rent and maybe even buy a cheap home, because housing and houses and property are relatively cheap compared to other places in the nation. Like, there's plenty of people that work at gas stations or wherever making minimum wage or around minimum wage that are able to pay their rent or whatever, pay for their living expense, have a vehicle, and just put food on the table. But anything beyond that, it's really not much. And back in New York, people getting a minimum wage, at least when it comes to the five boroughs, meaning New York City and Long Island, minimum wage is nowhere near enough in the five boroughs and Long Island to survive, really. I mean, unless maybe you're like incredibly resourceful and creative, and maybe if you're getting some type of assistance or something, maybe it's possible. But New York City and Long Island are incredibly expensive. Incredibly expensive. Buying a house is prohibitively expensive for so many people in those places in New York, and rent is just insanely high in those places in New York. The ending was chicken butt. So what's the first part? I think minimum wage in Florida goes up to 15 per hour on September 30. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. It'd be hard out here for most working class people, I think. The past few years or so, perhaps around 6 years, give or take, home insurance has skyrocketed in many places in America. Vehicle insurances has skyrocketed many places in America. Overall food costs has skyrocketed many places in America, and fuel prices have skyrocketed most places in America. While income is pretty much staying pretty steadily, like not even rising with the rate of inflation. So that's a big problem. That's just, if you approach it in a formulaic manner, people just don't have enough money. And I believe those aforementioned things, increases in expenses, is at least partially the reason, or one of the reasons, or whatever, that credit card debt has now reached an all-time high in America. People are putting groceries on credit cards. people are putting fuel on credit cards, and the credit card interest rates should be illegal. It's absolutely like should be called usury, which should be absolutely illegal, charging people 26 to 30%. Maybe they even have some that are higher interest on their money. That is burying people financially, burying people. These are facts. You can look it up. You can look up the economics of it all, and these are facts. It goes like this. Guess what? Chicken butt. Thank you, Shawnee. Kite festival this weekend. I think that guess what, chicken butt. I do not count that as something bad. I think that's harmless. Kite festival this weekend, but it's $5 per person, so we won't be going. A kite festival. That might be interesting. Credit cards should be canceled. Delete them. Credit cards are horrible. Sadly, a lot of people have to use them to put food on the table. There is such a crisis financially for most working class people that something's got to give. People are burying themselves to pay for things that their income would have just covered. And to be fair, many people are absolutely horrible stewards of their finances. Many people absolutely buy horrible, stupid, poisonous garbage food with their money, or a lot of that stuff. Many people buy fast food, which is straight garbage. I'll correct that and say most or all. Maybe there's some that's not straight garbage. Most or all fast food is straight garbage. A lot of people are still wearing $200 Jordans or whatever, eating fast food, buying $7 coffees instead of making coffee at home, and they complain about their finances. And I'm a very fair person, so I'm mentioning both sides of that equation. People being horrible with their finances and certain economic factors that are out of their hands that are just hurting people. But with everything being so tough, and with things rather being so tough and things being so expensive, one would think that responsible people would at least try to be better with their finances. My heart goes out to the people who are good stewards of their finances or try to be, and people who like are not going on vacations frequently, people who buy healthy, clean food as affordably as they can, people who are growing and producing some of their own food, people who are looking for free activities. Those people, a lot of them are still struggling. Colin, when would the leaves start dropping on that famous tree behind you? That's a great question, brother. I actually mentioned in at least one, maybe more than one recent live stream, how I've been noticing a lot of leaf drop this past few days or so. I mean, more than a normal amount, like autumn level or close to autumn level, just whatever, a lot of leaves dropping. And I'm thinking, is that a sign that fall is like almost here? Because in Missouri, we typically get what might be, I'm not going to say it in case it's a negative way to say it, but I'll just say long summers. Like it could remain pretty hot here well into October, and we can get randomly warm days even in November. September is pretty much like summer here for most or all of the years that I've been in Missouri, which is give or take around 6 years, I think more than 6 years. But I'm noticing a lot of leaf drop. So I'm not sure when these leaves are going to drop. Well, we actually, I think, have gotten some leaf drop, but not a lot, not like autumn level leaf drop. But it probably drops at least some leaves, most or all of the year. Let me go back to the comments. There's 24/7 farm stores opening in Minnesota with local meat, dairy, produce, etc. Real food membership code gets you inside. That's awesome. Goldenrod is blooming, which means frost in 6 weeks. My wife Nicole mentioned something about we saw what we thought was or might be or whatever goldenrod blooming on our property. And my wife Nicole mentioned something about how that means first frost is in 6 weeks or something like that. Which, I mean, I think that might be a good general guideline. I don't think it's a specific set in stone kind of a thing, but there might be something to that. I could not imagine getting frost at like the end of September here, but maybe it's possible. One good practice, I think my wife said she has read and or heard or whatever about that goldenrod blooming thing being a sign of first frost. One good practice, which I don't always practice, when shopping, pick up a desired item and ask if it is a want or a need. That is some excellent advice, Gary. That is some excellent advice. And I also, I'm a human. I've got impulsive and compulsive. I'm impulsive and compulsive at times, and there's times I buy things I should not, for sure. For the most part, I'm a very thoughtful, intentional buyer. My wife and I read labels, and if we don't read labels, is because we already know the labels, and even then, we still check them however much of the time, anyways. But like certain things we've been buying for years that we know that they're clean, they're good, we might not read those. But I would say we anything that's new, we're always going to read the label. Read labels, folks. Colin, what's up, brother? Happy you made it, Stoney. My dad always said that, JB. It's great advice. That's some great advice Gary had shared. We know when the weather is changing in Florida when the colors of the license plates change. Ha. What do you mean? What do you mean? Good one, JB. LOL. Colors of the license plates change. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Someone help me out. Clarify that for me. Explain it to me. Sips coffee. We get winter Texans. I'm lost. I'm not getting it. The stuff that's written. Winter Texans. I wonder what winter's like in Texas. In Florida, I think I've heard or whatever that it's what it drops to like maybe the 50s or something. In Texas, I assume it's similar. Probably really don't get much of a winter at all compared to here in Missouri. We can get brutal winters here. Snowbirds come south. Oh, the colors of the license plates change. Oh, I get it. I get it. Thank you for explaining, Gary. That's funny. I get it. Yeah, you probably get a lot of people, the snowbirds, as they say, heading down there. I think back in when I was living in New York, it was a relatively popular thing for people that had the money, at least, to in the winter and before the winter or whenever, go to Florida. And there was a specific group of people that I'm not going to say who were maybe known for that. New Yorkers, I'm talking about. A specific group of New Yorkers that were maybe known for doing that. I'll just say they're the type of people that typically have a lot of money. Minnesota, Wisconsin, etc. When the Northerners fly south for winter, winter Texans. I got it. You were talking about Texans as well. You get those snowbirds too. Thank you, Stoney and JB, for explaining. Yeah, okay, I get it. That's funny. I don't blame them, Like New York, for example, the winters could be pretty rough. They could be pretty rough. I love the winters here in Missouri, except for when it can get brutally cold. Winter here in Missouri compared to New York. My observation, I think, over 6 years of being here is that The winter, as far as time, seems a little shorter than New York, and we get a lot less snow typically than New York gets. It can still get very, very cold here, just as cold or maybe even colder at times than it does typically get in New York, but a lot less snow, and it seems like it's a shorter winter. New York, I feel like winter goes into March. Here, it's like March is already, the weather's already started changing by then, typically. East coast of Florida gets East Coast Northerners, and West Coast gets Midwest folks. Oh, that's interesting. See, I might have never heard of those details before. That's interesting. That's interesting. And I wonder if that's has to do with like the type of money they typically have, so where the areas they go to and slash, or if it just makes sense as far as travel. Like maybe the people from the Midwest are just driving. A lot of them are driving, so they just stop on the west coast of Florida. I'm not sure. That's interesting, though. I may have never heard of that before. Interesting. I'm seeing 9 accounts playing this right now. That's awesome. Thank you to whoever's here playing this. I did not. I think I'm going to go with I think I might not have. I'm leaning towards I think I didn't even pick a goal for number of likes. That's not like me. I might have said 7. Either way, thank you to everybody who liked my first goal, or maybe my second goal, question mark. For number of likes is 11. Let's just get a few more. I'm probably going to finish up somewhat soon, folks. I have a lot I would like to get done before I go to work. I think I'm definitely going to work today. Real quick, we lost power in our home yesterday for a bit of time. And we do have a solar setup that powers at least parts of our home. And even that couldn't save us because I think the problem might have been connected to the solar. But long story short, we had this is a great example of why it's important to prep, folks. We lost power with our refrigerator and our freezer upstairs in our kitchen, and that's not good. That's not good. We could have lost a lot of food. Thankfully, we were able to get things were taken care of relatively quickly, but we did lose power yesterday. Little things are so great to have, folks, like battery packs, battery portable batteries for your phones, for example. Things like that are so helpful, so helpful. Keep your phones charged. What happened? I think it had something to do with the neutral, the solar wires going into the neutral or something. There was even some sparks in our not glove box. I think I started saying glove box in our fuse box, which that could have been a possible fire situation. So it all worked out. Thanks be to God. We were able to get somebody here by chance. I think God made it happen. It might end up costing us a lot of money to have him do what he did as a master electrician, but hopefully he fixed it. I think he probably did. But yeah, that really was unfortunate. Did you get ice? That's a great question about the ice, Shawnee. I did not. I ended up not doing that, but I did mention the idea to my wife, and she said something like, "Oh, maybe we should." But thankfully, it all got worked out before things went bad in our fridge. I want to throw a tip out there. I know it might be obvious, it might be common sense, but just I'm gonna say it anyways. Is anytime you lose power with your fridge and slash or your freezer, try not to open it. And if you do open it, be quick about it. You might be surprised with how quickly, because heat works by diffusion, it goes from high to low. It's no such thing as cold going out. There's some science for you. The heat can move rather quickly from outside the fridge and or freezer into the fridge and or freezer. So you got to grab something from that fridge. You better boom, boom. You better think it through before you open the fridge or freezer about what your movement's going to be. And that could dramatically increase if you're being careful about how long you have the doors open or whatever. That could dramatically increase how long the food stays cold. That might be common sense, but maybe you'll think of it now. Maybe I just reminded you. Who knows? Maybe in the future you might lose power and my voice might be in your head. You know what I'm saying? So there's just a tip for you folks. Please consider that. Again, you might be surprised with how quickly heat can diffuse into that fridge and or freezer. Oh, what'd I do? I hit a sticker thing or something? Hopefully I didn't mess up the live or anything. You're breaking up occasionally. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got great battery and great Wi-Fi. Thanks for letting me know. Let me... Yeah, great lesson. Great message. Oh, if that was about thing or things I said, Stony, thank you, sir. Well, yeah, Sparks. Pretty crazy. I have a Jackery power station that is 1,000 watts, and it is awesome. Okay, I'm happy you mentioned that. I've heard of Jackery before. I've looked that up a little bit. Somebody I work with, I believe, has some type of Jackery generator or something, and I'm happy you mentioned it. It's something I'll look into. We do have a generator, a dual-purpose propane and gasoline generator. Never had to use it, but I'm thankful we have it. And having the solar on our property is definitely helpful because even with like in the past, we lost power from a squirrel in our power line. Yeah, squirrel died, did squirrel stuff, whatever. So we lost power from the grid, but thankfully our solar was able to power our freezer downstairs, I believe our refrigerator upstairs and freezer upstairs, and I believe a couple or a few different parts of our home. So that solar was really nice to have, really nice to have. Oops, Mega One Home, OUPE. I read that as oops, I think. Mega One Home backup and portable power station, 2,000 watts, 1,024. I think maybe that's watt hours, is on sale. That's what I have. Oh, thanks for the heads up, Sean. Screenshot that. You believe in tarots, man? I believe it strongly. I do not believe it. It's, well, I'm going to say, I think it's, let me start over. I'm going to go with, it's satanic garbage. It is evil, and I avoid all that demonic stuff. Even if it were to work, you're playing with demonology and satanic stuff, so stay away from it. I'm not going to get into explaining all the details about why you should stay away from it, but that new age spirituality garbage is straight garbage. And I encourage you to look up the testimonies of people who were once very much into paganism, witchcraft, crystals, tarot reading, those aforementioned things, and how they thankfully found Christ. And they're very enlightening testimonies about how evil and horrible that stuff is. That's what I'll say about that. Keep things filled with ice like old juice containers, bags, EVT, keep frozen, and you can move them to the fridge when this happens again. Yes, having extra ice is a great thing to do, Shawnee. Excellent tip. Do you read cards, Logan? One day when finances get better, I will upgrade. An ice freezer, yeah. You're here still. I listened to reading, Shawnee. Dual purpose generators, what I also have. Squirrels do that more than you think. I could totally see that being relatively common. Yeah, I reject that tarot stuff. Whether you know it or not, it is evil and it will negatively affect you. I'll leave it at that. And that is objective truth. And people might be thinking all kinds of things about what I've said, but I've studied religions, theology way more than I'd ever met, actually. And I was a hardcore atheist for well over a decade. And I can tell you, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And that is fully reconciled with my understanding of science and quantum physics, quantum mechanics, things like that. And I will not be relative and lukewarm about that. That is objective truth. But everyone's on their own path, on their own journey. All I could do is plant seeds and water seeds. And I could get into my personal testimony about how I learned over many years of intense study. I'm talking hours and hours a day kind of studying for decades, like crazy, researching things people don't even have a clue about, and connecting science, theology, different things, and landing on the truth that is the truth. I'll leave it at that. Witchcraft is, and people labeled as, oh, it's just innocent, it's just herbalism and this and that, whatever. I would be a horrible person if I didn't share truth. When you love people, when you care about them, you share truth, even if it offends them, even if they don't like it, even if it creates cognitive dissonance. And I can tell you, heaven and hell is real, spiritual warfare is real, God is real, and everyone needs to accept Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior. If they don't, they will spend eternity in hell. Do what you want with that information. I'm not going to get into supporting all of that right now. That's true. And the thing is, just because I don't get into details does not mean that I am not well aware of the false rebuttals, the rebuttals that people have. I was a highly contentious, foaming at the mouth, literal and figurative devil's advocate for well over a decade. I know most or all of the arguments from atheists. I know most or all of the arguments from New Age spiritualists. I know all that stuff, and I've got answers for most or all of them. But I'm not going to do that here. I'm just telling truth, and hopefully I'm planting seeds. I escaped magic. If you mean got away from it, then that's great if you did. By the way, Tish Ross's tumor on her brainstem was removed 99%, and it was benign. She still has a major healing process. That is awesome to hear. Thank you for that update, Gary. Jesus is King. Amen. Amen. Thank you for that awesome comment. I use herbalism. Herbalism, when done without spirituality, can be a great thing. We use herbs as well. Herbs are gifts from God. The name alone holds power. Absolutely. I am going to finish up. I'm going to try to get some gardening and maybe some YouTube content stuff done. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you to everybody who hit the like. Thank you to everybody who is active in the chat. I'm going to get going now. First and foremost, most importantly, as always, God is great. You missed my comment. Churches don't welcome these tarots doing. Any biblical church would absolutely reject tarots. They are satanic. Be well, everybody. Take care.